This morning, I want to take another look at the universe. Not the upward universe, but the universe around us and within us. Hence the title of the creation moment, The Unseen World of Microbes or Bacteria. And we start with a opening scripture, which is found in Colossians 1:16a. For by him were all things created, that are in heaven and that are in earth. Microbes are the earliest forms of life on earth, and we want to broadly consider how varied and how highly specialised these minuscule creatures can be. Biology is difficult enough, but microbiology presents a whole new challenge because it deals with organisms that you can't even see with the naked eye. To clarify, think of microbiology as biology under a microscope. While diversity of life at the microscopic level is not only bacterial, most scientists generally refer to microbes as bacteria. Bacteria are present virtually everywhere on the earth, many types surviving and even flourishing under extreme conditions, such as pressurised water above 110 degrees centigrade heat, ice below minus 10 degrees centigrade, acids at pH values down to 2. Now pH is a figure expressing the level of acidity and alkalinity. And they survive at bases at pH values of up to 13 and environments without oxygen, feeding on essentially everything, including those inorganic nutrients available around mid-ocean hot springs. They even survive for long periods of time without any nutrients. In effect, as we said, bacteria are almost everywhere, busily sustaining life in ways we rarely see or appreciate. God designed bacteria, in many cases, to make inaccessible atoms available to us. A matrix of bacteria works around the clock to provide many vital ingredients of life. So let's briefly consider some of the variations within this matrix. We start with oxygen-producing bacteria. Cyanobacteria in the oceans break apart the bonds of carbon dioxide, making oxygen available to living things. Perhaps the most abundant creature on Earth, these microbes may release more oxygen than all the green plants on Earth combined. You have nitrogen-fixing bacteria. Our atmosphere is rich in nitrogen, but the majority is unusable because the atomic bond is too strong to break. The bacteria in genus Rhizobium, which live in and around plants, fix the nitrogen, making it usable to the plants. Most animals get their nitrogen indirectly from these nitrogen-fixing bacteria. We have carbon recycling bacteria. Many different bacteria recycle carbon, an essential building block of life. One specific duty is to break down dead plant matter and sea creatures. Without these bacteria, our forests would be choked with branches and leaves, and our oceans littered with exoskeletons. Then there are rock-eating bacteria. Many essential nutrients in the soil come from weathered rocks. A group of bacteria known as lithotrophs actually speeds up this process by feeding on the minerals within the rocks. As these rocks break down, they enrich the soil, thus benefiting the plants that we eat. Some types of bacteria are able to go into a state of suspended animation when living conditions become too harsh. Not only do they change their form and appearance, they are amazingly able to change their DNA structure to avoid damage from harmful types of light. Like other living things, bacteria need the right temperatures, the right amount of moisture, and other conditions that support life. When conditions change, bacteria are too tiny to move to better conditions. However, they can sporulate. Now, sporulation is being the formation of spores from vegetative cells during unfavourable environmental conditions. When living conditions become too harsh, some bacteria encase themselves in a tough coating of protein and enter a state of suspended animation. As spores, bacteria can rest in bone-dry soil for up to 60 years waiting for rain. Just consider one example of that type of spore, the anthrax spore, deadly to livestock and humans if inhaled, particularly humans that handle wool and hides. Ultraviolet radiation poses another danger to bacteria. This light damages the bacterium's DNA at a point where two thymine molecules sit next to each other. The light strikes the molecules and twists them. The result can be fatal to bacteria. So when a bacterium begins to go into spore form, it produces a protein that slightly and harmlessly changes the shape of these two thymine molecules so that they are not affected by ultraviolet light. The entire process by which bacteria go into spore form reflects a sophisticated knowledge both of biochemistry and physics. But remember, despite its wonderful flexibility, bacterial adaptation doesn't change a bacterium into a completely different kind of organism. God designed bacteria to be master adapters with genetic resources that humans and animals don't have. Modern researchers are gradually learning that bacteria are not a simple form of life. Rather, a bacterium is a tremendously complex creature that can even think in its own way, a capability which we covered in an earlier creation moment. God created bacteria to perform vital roles in every imaginable environment. So in conclusion, even in the lowly bacteria, our Creator has made it clear that He and He alone deserves the credit for the creation and its complexity in which we live, and who has stated in Job 5:9 about Himself, which doeth great things and unsearchable, marvellous things without number, who truly cares for every living creature, even the tiniest bacteria. So thank you for listening.